The Precambrian was a time of Earth's history, called by some a super eon, divided into three eons collectively lasting around 4 billion years. It spans from the formation of Earth around 4.6 billion years ago up until the Cambrian period, a time designated by a sudden explosion of complex life. Throughout the Precambrian, Earth had little to no forms of life besides cyanobacteria, but was becoming a more favorable environment to life, with oceans starting to form around 3.8 billion years ago and oxygen appearing around 3 billion years ago, but not becoming permanent until the Great Oxidation Event 2.4 billion years ago. Despite the general hostility of this early Earth, complex life did manage to evolve, even if it was comparatively recently. To shed light on some of these obscure early life forms, here are 5 interesting animals that lived during the Precambrian. Possibly the best known Precambrian animal, Dickinsonia lived during the late Ediacaran period in what is now Australia, Canada, China, Russia, and Ukraine. It was a rather large organism for its time, with known specimens ranging in size from 0.16 inches to around 4 feet in length. It was incredibly horizontally compressed, rarely exceeding a few millimeters in thickness. It fed on microbial mats that made up much of its environment, consisting of bacteria and algae, absorbing them with its entire underside as it lacked a traditional mouth and digestive system. Because of its unique feeding style, there are fossilized imprints of where it fed, with the animal itself not far away, feeding in a different spot. Australia is where many Ediacaran period animals have been discovered. Sphrygia is entirely known from here. It was small, reaching up to 2 inches in length, and somewhat resembled the later arthropod group called trilobites. Despite the physical similarities, especially with its unique head shield, Sphrygia's exact classification is uncertain, and it does not seem to be closely related to any other known animal. Some consider it to be related in some way to trilobites, while others suggest their appearances could be an instance of convergent evolution, which is when unrelated animals evolve similar appearances due to similar environmental pressures. It fed on microbial mats that covered the ocean floor, possibly using its unique head to scrape algae off the seafloor. Prehistoric animals are sometimes named after other paleontologists, such as Lambeosaurus, Andrewsarchus, and Dunkleosteus, being named after Lawrence Lambie, Roy Chapman Andrews, and David Dunkel, respectively. Other times, they're named after completely unrelated people. Obamas was an unusual animal that lived in Australia during the Ediacaran period, with possible records stretching back into the Tonian. It was named in 2020 after former President Barack Obama due to his passion for science. It was a small creature, being just under an inch in length, and was covered in 6 overlapping, clockwise grooves that resemble wreaths. Its fossils have been found in what was an estuary-like environment with thick microbial mats, suggesting it preferred shallower water. It is currently believed to have been a filter feeder. Among the most recently described species from Australia's Ediacara National Park, Uncas was a small worm-like animal from Australia and Newfoundland during the Ediacaran period. Its cylindrical body, with differing head and tail ends, suggests it belongs to a clade that includes arthropods, nematodes, and tardigrades. If true, it represents the oldest known ecdysozoan yet discovered. It was named in 2024 and means hooked, referring to the shape of many of its fossils. It was very small, growing to just over an inch at most, with one end being wider than the other. It seems to have been capable of moving around, evidenced by its specimens not being trapped in the microbial mats common at the time and being found on top of other animals, including Phoenicia and inside Dickinsonia feeding traces. It likely fed primarily on the microbial mats. Sir David Attenborough has contributed significantly to paleontology and science as a whole, and as such he has several dozen animals named after him. One of several extinct species is Adenborides, a rather unusual animal from the late Ediacaran of Australia. It was very small, reaching up to just under an inch at most. Its fossils include small ridges and grooves, though they were likely caused by the fossilization process, and the animal itself was most likely smooth. As with most animals from its place and time, it may have been a benthic animal living on the seafloor and feeding on microbial mats. However, most evidence from when it was named in 2020 up until a study done in 2024 seems to support the theory that it was a pelagic animal, drifting through the water and catching whatever particles it came across, similar to jellyfish. So, there were 5 cool Precambrian aged animals. Did you know of any of these before this? Typically, I like to try to mix well-known and obscure animals into much of my work, but with Precambrian species, they're basically all rather obscure, and all from the same place and time. That said, there are some that I did leave out, and so could end up revisiting later on. Not sure if I'll do another Precambrian related thing, but I might. This was the last video of this series I actually made. Yes, series. There's 3 more parts to this. They'll be coming soon. I just wanted to make sure those got done first, as this one was really a last-minute decision. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this and learned something new, but that'll really be it for me until the next installment's release anyway, so yeah, hope you enjoyed. See ya.